Hello fellow duelists and collectors. Today I will be showcasing my Synchron Deck, which I actually originally built before the new Link format and before the ban list where they banned Level Leader, which really pissed me off. But today I'm just going to get into it with you and show you this deck, which I think is a very fun deck and really good to use against your friends in tournaments at home when you don't have to go by the new format, if they're okay with that, you know. It's a little controversial. Parry Knights because, you know, it's a special summon if you take any battle damage, so that's like super helpful. Cyber Dragon because it's a special summon when your opponent controls monsters you don't, which is also a good attack point monster. 2 copies of the Tricky. I really love the Tricky in this deck, especially because you can throw a Quillbolt in the grave. You used to be able to throw a Level Leader in the grave, but now you can't do that. So that's unfortunate, but still a good card. 2000 attack, special summon. 3 Junk Synchrons. Very, I think, standard for the Synchron deck, you know. There's a lot of Junk Synchro monsters, and especially Junk Destroyer. He also brings back a monster from the grave, which can be super helpful with Synchro summons besides him for a monster, a different tuner, you know. Turret Warrior because this is heavily with warriors, and if you tribute summon him, it's a special summon, and he gains the attack of the tributed warrior type monster, which is super helpful. Marauding Captain because it gives you an extra special summon. I think I actually threw him in only because Level Eater is gone now. I didn't have him in before, but he's also a good addition. Gets you another monster out of your hand. 3 Quillbolts because Quillbolt is absolutely essential since its own effect can special summon from the grave when you have a tuner on the field. Very helpful. Doppel Warrior because if a monster is special summoned from your grave, you can special summon this, and when it's sent to the grave for a Synchro summon, it gets the 2 Doppel Warrior tokens. Which reminds me, I need more tokens for this deck. 3 Quick Draw Synchrons. This is the main card of the deck. It allows you to access all of your Synchron monsters, and you absolutely need to use this card to get this deck to make major plays. It's also, you know, discard a monster to special summon it, which is awesome because it's a special summon, especially if you send Quillbolt to bring it back, and then you instantly go into like Nitro Warrior or something, which is awesome. 1 Sandbell the Summoner because it lets you special summon a 2-star, and there's a decent amount of 2-stars in here. I think I counted and there's like 8 or something like that, which means your odds are decent that you're going to get another 2-star with him in your hand, which is good. 1 Jet Synchron, which he's mainly in here for to summon Formula Synchron, but he also is useful in other cases, and with like Road Warrior could summon him, so that's pretty cool. Plus his effect is pretty decent, if I do admit. Nitro Synchron is actually only in here because of Level Leader again, actually, weirdly enough. And actually, I might have replaced him with something else. But anyway, if he's Synchro summoned for like Nitro Warrior, you get to draw a card, which I think is good. Also, since you have the Tricky and Cyber Dragon, it's not too hard to do, but it's also sometimes not too easy to do either. But he can be used for other like cards that you could Synchro summon, like some of the monsters don't need specific Synchron monsters, so that's good. Suzuki Samurai is definitely in here because Level Eater is gone, but it's a good card because you can prevent your opponent from using their spell or traps, so that's a good shutdown card. 2 Synchron Explorer because like it's good, but since you negate the effect of the monster you're bringing back, which has to be level 5 or higher, and a tuner, I believe, a Synchron actually. Actually, yeah, it just has to be a Synchron, but it negates its effect, so it can be not very useful at times, can be useful. But I mainly use it for Quick Draw to get a 7-star off, but you could use it for like maybe Junk Synchron or something to get a 5-star, which is actually more helpful since you're using the Stardust Cipher Divine Dragon. Sweet Corn. I threw this in because I had to replace Level Leader also, but it does have a decent effect where you get to pay 500 to summon a token along with it during main phase 2. Not too bad, but not too good. It can be helpful in Synchro summoning. 2 Turbo Booster are very helpful because it's like if you special summon during this turn, or if you normal summon, you can special summon this during this turn. And you mainly just use it for a Synchro summon, but it can be used for other things like for destroying your opponent's monster by card effect. If you get desperate. One Cyber Valley because it's good. I don't know if it's worth having like multiples of. You could probably run 2 and it would be a good play, but I don't often find myself being like, oh my gosh, this card's gonna help me make a really quick play. No, it's more of a stall card that lets you draw, which can be useful, but also can be just bad if you're playing someone else who's much faster of a player. All right, the spells, 3 tuning, which lets you add a Synchron monster from your deck to your hand. I always go for Quick Draw Synchron because it's super helpful, and these just increase the draw speed of the deck, which is helpful. 3D Synchros because, honestly, for Junk Destroyer is what it's mainly in here for, but also if you need to Synchro Summon something different to be able to get around whatever your opponent's doing, it can be helpful. But it is so great to Synchro Summon Junk Destroyer, use Desynchro, resummon it, and destroy a bunch of your opponent's monsters in the process, or cards. Probably more back row. Battle Waltz is actually just for protection. It mainly just gives you a stronger monster. Like if you copy him, you have another 4,000 attack point monster, but it doesn't do damage, which is okay. Also, you can use it for another Synchro monster with a lower level, like let's say Formula Synchron, which is a 2-star, just to have another 2-star monster on the field for Synchro Summon for a higher up. 1 for 1, a lot of 1-stars in the deck, very helpful card, especially for getting another monster in the grave. Rhoda, there obviously is a lot of warriors in this deck, so just a quicker draw speed. Monster Reborn is back off the ban list, which is awesome, so it's good in any deck, and honestly, especially in this, for bringing monsters back to the field to Synchro Summon. Book of Moon comes in clutch in a lot of situations. It can stop, like monster effects or attacks, and it's just a versatile card that I think is underrated, but very useful. 1 MST for just back row destruction, although you have, enough destructive power with the deck, with Junk Destroyer and other things, but 1 is still coming in handy, A Scrap Iron Scarecrow just for a call to Yusei, because that is his trap card, man. Like, I feel like you just kind of should have it in the deck if you're a true fan. Not necessary at all for a true duelist, though. For someone who's trying to just be like a power duelist. Compulsory also, because it's good to get a free return your opponent's monster to the hand. So that's good. And then the token for either like Doppel Warrior or Sweet Corn. And then we have the Synchro monsters, starting with the Stardust Cipher Dragon, which first, once per turn, it can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, which is good. And then its secondary effect, which is pretty awesome, I remember. Right, when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can just destroy 1 card they control. It could be the monster, it could be something else, and you negate that effect, right? Yeah, you negate that effect, so it's like, wow, that's pretty awesome. But it can only be summoned with 2 Synchro monsters, Synchro Tuner, Synchro Non-Tuner, so it's very hard to get out, but very helpful when you do. And also, if it's destroyed, it can bring back a Stardust monster from the grave, which is why Stardust Warrior is in here, which is also a Tuner Synchro monster and a Non-Tuner Synchro monster. But really, it all depends on what you can get out, which one's going to help you more for summoning them. Then you have a Road Warrior, just for if you need to summon something to help you, like it could be Cyber Valley, it could be Turbo Booster, but whatever you need to get around your opponent's stuff. And then the main Synchro monster, which is, I think, the most important out of the deck, Junk Destroyer. It is just, if you like have a bunch of monsters on the field that you use to Synchro Summon it, it does serious damage, especially if you have Desynchro. You like wipe your whole opponent's field, which is awesome. Then Nitro Warrior, mainly for the attack, but also if your opponent has a defense position monster and attack position monster, it can really get off some real damage, which is helpful. This Karakuri is actually only in here for the, I think it was Turbo Synchron, which allows you to bring one of the Synchron monsters back from the grave. And he's a 7-star that just needs a tuner and a non-tuner machine type, which, if you recollect... Oh, sorry, this is a little embarrassing. Oh, right, his attack 0. He is a machine non-tuner. Sorry that took so long. But yeah, he is the one who you can get him out with. So he's basically like fodder, I guess, just to help you get more stuff on the field. Hopefully to synchro into the tuner synchro, non-tuner synchro monsters. And then Junk Archer, which, you know, is good for banishing your opponent's monster, getting a little attack in, and helping out. I don't go for him too much, though. Turbo Warrior, if you're going up against a synchro, I guess, which can be helpful. TG Hyper Librarian. In this deck, if the link format's not being used, insanely broken. Very good. Lets you draw for each synchro summon, and you synchro summon like twice, 3 times a turn on average in this deck, for real. Especially when Level Eater was around. That was insane. Junk Warrior, very standard for, you know, Junk Synchro and Quick Draw. Actually, not Quick Draw anymore, damn. But, you know, call back to Yusei. Jet Warrior, which came out in the relatively newer Synchro deck, which is mainly helpful with the Excel Synchron, which we can use to summon the Stardust Warrior. So those two are a good combo together. And then we have Armory Arm for the 4-star, good equip, and Formula Synchron for the 2-star. So that is going to be it for this deck profile, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this was an interesting and fun deck profile for you to check out. Be sure to give me a like if you actually like this video, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you.